Hi everyone, in this video we'll set up vendors. These are your company suppliers. Vendors are the people or organization you buy goods and services from, and setting them up correctly is essential for generating accurate purchase orders, invoices and reports. To get started with vendor setting on our main dashboard and on the purchase module, we have vendors. This is where we manage all our suppliers. This is where we manage our suppliers' company information, details, payment terms, and we can also do the linked items. Like every other thing in the system, we are able to import vendors. Importing vendors is simple again. We have a download file, that is a sample file that we're able to download the sample file, which has the format, put in all the data we need, and then upload. However, when we have a fewer vendors that we want to add, we can create a new vendor. So for instance, we have a vendor, and let's say this is vendor 001, company, we can say Awesome Hosts Limited. If we are bringing in balances from prior period, then this is an opportunity for us to put in the balance and the opening balance for the system to consider that. For VAT number, we can put in the VAT number that we require. If we have the phone number, we have to ensure that we put all these details. Remember, these details will assist us in managing how the website or how the documentation will look like. Therefore, and then if you have a category of a vendor, please look at a previous video on how to set up a vendor category. So this IT vendor, or whether it's a service provider, we can click on depending on what category the vendor is. Currency of the vendor, whether it's dealing in rands, or Kenya shillings, or whatever currency it is. If you do not include that, the system will pick the default. The address of the vendor. For all the details that is required. It's always important to ensure that you capture all the details of our vendors. This is for purposes of reporting, ensuring bank details. The payment terms can be recorded here, say let's say 30 days from, and the bank details you can say can be included also here. Once you've set up every information that you want to set, we can save, or we can set and create a contact. This is a contact that will be responsible or would be managing the account. So I will set up the responsible team or the vendor. You can put their phone number. Default direction can be set, and then we can do a password. Remember, we talked about we can also invite vendors to have our online portal within our Excel core, and in doing that and in creating and saving, we're able to set up a vendor in our Excel core. So that is how we set up a vendor and create a vendor, an individual vendor from in our Excel core. Now, Awesome Hosts Limited, vendor number 1 has already been set with their profile, contacts, and everything within that vendor. We're able to deal with the vendor accordingly. In order to link the vendor or to link this vendor with items, we can go to the purchase module and go to vendor items. And in vendor items, we'll say, or we'll look at whatever our vendor that we have, and we can group all the items, or we can create a new vendor items. So the vendor we have is new, and what we have grouped, say in items, will be IT equipment, and IT equipment we have routers, GB, laptop, and then we can save. What happens here is that we are linking a vendor with the items that we have. In linking up the vendor and the item, what you're saying is that every time we're going to look for PO, make requisitions that we're going to send. It is easy and automatic, and the system will send POs or will send requests for quotation from vendors that are already existing in the system. To go back on vendors, to create another vendor, we just say new vendor. However, if we need to delete vendor, we're able to delete from here. We're able to view, clicking, and we're able to check the contacts of the vendor. We're able to delete the vendor that we've created. That will be able to update the shipping address. If there's a shipping address, just by copying the billing address, we're able to do that and save that. If there are any policies to do return, we can be able to say what policies are there and add the policies. The vendor admin, that means the person we assign as the person in the vendor admin assigned to the system, and then we save that. So that clearly sets up, and that's how we set vendors in the system, and that's why we're able to deal with the vendor from end to end. Always ensure you have all the vendors created well in the system, and ensure we have their contact information in the system well done. From here now we'll move to purchase requests, and we see how to raise and submit an internal purchase request for approvals before creating official orders. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.